Casino with relatively open and fair rules, where countries or institutions gamble for high profits. The financial derivatives market is moving towards casino-like, serving as a safe screen for the virtual economy to directly affect the real economy obstacle, adjusting economic imbalances before they harm the real economy, becoming a place for excess evaporation with dissipative functions. But this is only a possible trend in the international financial market, and whether domestic derivatives in China are heading towards casinos, the key to success lies in whether, while accepting the double-edged sword effect and abstract affirmation of financial derivatives, we can leverage the advantages of latecomers, absorb and learn from them, and improve the barrier role of the virtual financial market. This first means separating rather than mixing. Of course, this is not to say that banks, securities, and insurance are completely in their respective positions and functions, but to set up firewalls to separate high-leverage off-balance sheet banking and financial derivative investment business from traditional banking business, in order to ensure the bottom line of deposit safety. In addition, a firewall is set between market failure and human greed. For example, the income of the boss is no longer just the final say decision of the market. Next, improve the order of the casino, ensure fair, just, and open trading rules and information, so that participants can be willing to gamble and admit defeat. Become stories, that is, who can tell stories, whose stories are more credible, and who has more wealth. At present, investment banks seem to be the king of stories. Whether it's internationally renowned Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, or China's struggling private equity funds, they are all passionate about telling stories, ranging from building friendships with the president and prime minister to hyping up rumors about the chairman of a listed company. The purpose of hype is nothing more than to increase their equivalent. The financial civilization does not exist street independently of other civilizations, but is linked to the first three civilizations. For example, agricultural listed companies graft financial civilization onto agricultural civilization, amplifying the achievements of agricultural civilization several times or tens of times through a financial civilization. Technology-based venture capital funds graft financial civilization onto industrial and information civilization, greatly improving the efficiency of industrial and information civilization. At present, the most successful grafting is still in investment NKS, including popular IDG technology venture capital funds, VC venture capital, PE private equity investment, etc. Each of the four economic civilizations has its own differences. The older the era, the more complete its knowledge system is. However, at the same time, its knowledge is the efficacy also accelerates the decline. The characteristics of different economic civilizations vary greatly, and the corresponding knowledge systems have significant differences. Judging the development trend of the next civilization based on the knowledge laws of the previous civilization is similar to the Battle of Guangdong and At present, the society is generally unaware of the arrival of financial civilization. Financial explosion. On July 10th, Margaret Thatcher launched a large-scale financial reform. This reform not only it has had a significant impact on the traditional financial system in the UK and has also had a significant impact on the development of the global financial industry, known as the financial explosion. The Big Bang quickly triggered a wave of global financial liberalization. During this period, the core content of the financial industry reform was the liberalization of the financial services industry, the elimination of brokers and traders, the regulation that the two functions of trading cannot be mutually exclusive, with brokers and exit agents serving simultaneously, and the restrictions on the membership of exchanges being relaxed. Cancel the minimum fixed commission limit for securities trading and implement the liberalization of securities trading agency fees. Remove the restriction on none. Why are we slow and fast in dealing with the issues of capital and finance? The subprime mortgage crisis finally made Bernanke uneasy. First, he cut the bank rate by basis points, and then the quasi-interest rate has been reduced to 2%. The practical action of saving the market first completely overturned its previously held belief that inflation is the primary goal of monetary policy, in sharp contrast to the rapidity of the rescue action. The U.S. Federal Reserve turned a blind eye to the foam and reacted slowly to the foam in the slow accumulation process of the housing market. Behind this policy's division reflects human alienation. Before taking over the role of the Federal Reserve, Bernanke was a non-foam theorist and also published an academic paper asserting that monetary policy is essentially powerless to foam. While his behavior in the subprime mortgage crisis was undoubtedly self-defeating, also betraying his beliefs is his predecessor Greenspan, who was a disciple of economic liberalism in his college years. But once he took the baton of the Federal Reserve, he immediately changed his face and repeatedly intervened in the operation of the invisible hand with the visible hand of policy. Two generations of Federal Reserve leaders have a dual personality in their bodies. Looking at the current Chinese economy, there is also a similar phenomenon of slow and rapid growth. On the one hand, in terms of capital, the regulatory response in finance and state-owned enterprises is swift and hasty. Huajin Company, less than 4 years after its establishment, has injected $1 billion into the 4 major state-owned banks. As for the latter trillion yuan bad debts, they have been quietly wiped out by the central bank and the Ministry of Finance. China Investment Corporation (CIC), which had a lot of activity, started preparing in March and had already smoothly released its investment within 6 months. It even eagerly completed its investment in Blackstone in May as a foreign exchange investment company. Unfortunately, this investment not only failed to make a profit, but also paid tuition fees. It is not surprising that similar situations are also common in areas such as state-owned enterprise reform. On the other hand, there is a slow response in market construction and scientific coordination. The capital market has been open for years and is still a lame duck. The defect of the listing mechanism only of the market value, too few trading varieties, no short selling mechanism, etc. make the capital market have endure the pain of no intermediate transition space. After years of procrastination on the next board, small and medium-sized enterprises that are short of money have waited until the flowers withered. As for antitrust, there are many slogans and few actions. The anti-socialist market economy, W was only introduced national congresses put forward equal enjoyment of national treatment. This is just a document. Ownership superstition has become the main obstacle to the transformation of national motivation, as it prevents the country from directly participating in the economy and competing for the interests of the people, and also provides opportunities for departmental interests to the representative functional departments of the national machinery, hindering the upgrading of the national version. The coexistence and common development of multiple forms of ownership is the economic foundation for achieving political power differentiation, and also the basis for effectively defining the power and responsibility of the state, society, and individuals. The awkwardness of the non-public articles has already proven the predicament of private capital. In view of this, the most committed step of the purification of national motivation came on the scene, which is the most controversial: judicial independence. It is precisely because of the above problems that the motivation of judicial independence is doubted. The biggest mistake is the understanding of the concept of the state. So far, the analysis in this paper shows that the state has gone beyond the scope of the class conflict violence machine and represents the general concept of all the people. In this case, judicial independence has become a means of balancing various functional departments within the state machine. Instead of being independent of the state machine, it threatens the operation of the state machine itself and brings endless internal strife, increases transaction costs, and reduces the efficiency of the state machine. So if a country breaks away from the superstition of ownership, it will not hinder the implementation of the principles of fairness and justice due to its own interests. It will also make mutual checks and balances within the state machinery, such as judicial independence, inevitable, and the state's motives will not be distorted and become the cause of conflicts of interest. The foundation of a harmonious society can only be considered the usefulness of commodities to human beings, proposes utility value, and reveals various needs in human nature. Bentham's utilitarianism, marginal schools utility theory, Dewey's pragmatism. Due to significant differences in understanding industrial civilization, it has been in constant conflict since its inception, until the Cold War in the second half of the 20th century. Industrial civilization has gone through hundreds of years, and its laws have been effective in 100 years. Marx's Das Kapital, Marshall's Economics, and Keynes' general theory of employment, interest and money are classics, and indeed guide the socio-economic operation. In the mid to late 20th century, with the popularization of computers and the Internet, information civilization entered human society. The characteristic of information civilization is that the spread of social induction and information transmission is very fast, greatly changing the original production and lifestyle. For example, computers have changed traditional manufacturing technology and production processes, and the Internet has changed people's consumption and communication methods. Toffler once provided a phenomenal description of information civilization but did not touch upon the fundamental principles. The general equivalent of information civilization is information. Wherever there are many concepts, money flows there and wealth is generated. The new economy that originated in the US is a concentrated manifestation of information civilization, with NASDAQ being a representative of information civilization, and a large number of digital heroes becoming beneficiaries of information civilization. It has only been 30 years since the emergence of information civilization, during which there have been countless changes. Moreover, the philosophical foundation of information civilization is the principle of uncertainty, which makes it difficult to summarize unchanging laws. Therefore, in recent decades, it has been difficult to come up with grand works that have taken decades. From the above civilization process, it can be seen that the evolution of civilization is accelerating, from thousands, hundreds of years to decades year. Nowadays, there are many phenomena in the social economy that are different from the forms of civilization in the past, and various phenomena cannot be explained by past knowledge. The financial industry is playing an increasingly important role in some countries, surpassing the functions of any single industry. For example, the amount of tax paid by the high earners in the City of London has accounted for a quarter of the income of the whole UK. And a quarter of the UK corporate tax also comes from this region, which is generally the case for Wall Street in the United States. Once China's securities industry was launched, it developed with the thunderous momentum. In just over a decade, the stock market value increased by over